Now you have got control of your kite, we are going to learn about piloting and traction. We will cover sheeting the kite in and out, adjustment of the trim, then we will move the kite around to explore the different zones of power. You must then learn to control your kite with one hand and learn to do a beach start. We will then cover some of the most common problems encountered. Piloting the kite. Before attempting to pilot a kite, you should first take some lessons in a safe place with a training kite. Really, we recommend this. The training kite is a smaller kind of kite providing less traction, but enough to explore the flight window alone or with your family and dog. Remember, tying your animals or relatives to the kite is not natural and not fair. This kite has only 2 lines and can be used by children. Once you have learned a little from playing with this training kite, you will now be even more ready for coaching in a school with people who know what they're doing. Now that your harness is correctly rigged and you are holding the control bar correctly with the red-yellow indicator towards your left hand, you are now ready to begin piloting the kite. At this stage, you should really know all of the safety and jettison procedures, such as releasing the bar in case you lose control of the kite. Piloting the kite basically consists of creating a difference between the left and right-hand side of the bar to act on the brakes and to send the kite in a particular direction. If you pull with one hand, then you must push with the other. The reaction of the kite will depend on the range of your movement, but it also depends on the size of the kite. The smaller the kite, the quicker it will react. Sheeting in and sheeting out. The bar slides along the center line. When you pull on the bar, it is called sheeting in. When you push the bar, this is called sheeting out or depowering the kite. In fact, you are controlling the tension on the rear lines. The more tension on the rear lines, the more the kite will be powerful and reactive. On the contrary, when you push the bar away from you, then both power and maneuverability are reduced. Beginning in a slack position with your arms straight and starting to progressively sheet in, you will feel slight tension from on the rear lines. The kite will become more reactive. There should still be a margin to completely sheet in the kite by pulling the bar all the way to the stop on the chicken loop. The point where the light tension on the rear lines becomes apparent is called the neutral position. Therefore, piloting consists of a combination of right and left pressure on the bar, as well as sheeting in and sheeting out. Always make sure that you have correctly set your neutral position using the trim. See Chapter 6, Takeoff, Landing, and Adjusting the Trim. Flying the kite in the different power zones. The goal of this stage is to identify and discover the different flight areas and their corresponding powers. Once the kite is at the zenith, we can explore the edge of the wind window, which is the area of least power. You can actually stop your kite by placing it at particular positions on the edge of the wind window identified by times. The zenith is 12 o'clock. In the beginning, you will be mesmerized by your kite, but you should really learn to look around while keeping an eye on your kite and moving. Maneuvering in the window. Beginning at the 12 o'clock position, we can begin to zigzag or to sign around the zenith to feel the reaction time of the kite. We can expand these zigzag movements to a figure-of-8 movement and begin to feel traction. The lower the kite goes in the window, the more it will accelerate as it travels through different power zones. We can feel the acceleration phases as the kite enters the window and deceleration as the kite approaches the edge of the wind window to turn around. In order to obtain a fairly regular traction, play around inside the wind window and avoid the edges of the window. As traction increases, you will also begin to slide in a zigzag manner. Sit into your harness and keep your legs slightly bent while maintaining your balance on both heels. To reduce power, bring your kite back to the edge of the wind window. Working with half windows. We can also maneuver the kite on one side or one half of the wind window without crossing to the other side. We would use the right-hand side to make a right track and vice versa. A right-hand side tack is when the wind is coming from your right-hand side, your starboard. To increase traction, you can work the kite. Working the kite is when you establish a regular up and down sine movement. The more the kite re-enters the half window, the higher the power you will obtain. In this case, the traction created will pull you to the right-hand side. Piloting your kite with one hand. The idea of being able to control your kite with one hand is to free up your other hand for other tasks, like plucking fish out of the water. Controlling your kite with one hand will help you to move about, to recover and carry your board, as well as in body dragging. One of the things you will notice is that it is easier to keep your kite between the zenith and the left-hand side of the wind window by controlling the kite with your right hand and vice versa. To do this, place your kite in one half window or the other. Move your hands toward the center line, then take away the opposite hand to the chosen half of the wind window. Keep sufficient pressure to continue piloting your kite. If the kite tends to fall, pull on your hand by rotating your wrist. If the kite is rising towards the zenith, then push the bar. Once you have placed your kite in one half of the wind window, it will make it easier for you to move around, free up a hand, and to turn upwind to walk. There are a few exercises used by schools to train you to pilot your kite. Sitting down, eyes closed, controlling the kite while picking up sand, getting up. Your kiting instructor may even have some surprises up their sleeves. Common mistakes. Don't try piloting the kite with slack rear lines. In this case, the kite will not react correctly. Pull on the bar to return to the neutral position, thereby putting tension on the lines and gaining correct control of the kite. Always ensure that your trim is correctly adjusted. Don't cling onto the bar with your arms bent. One of the most natural mistakes is to cling to the bar with your arms bent, thereby preventing control of the difference between the two rear lines. Remember to relax your arms as well as to push on one side for smooth piloting. Another common mistake is failure to anticipate the reaction of the kite and thus the power supplied. Don't be abrupt with your bar and stay aware of the position of your kite. Running instead of sliding. Your objective is to allow the harness to carry you while pushing your feet in front and balancing your weight evenly on both heels. You should gradually slide forwards, and this will make it easier to control your kite. Keep your chest in line with the traction. Don't pull on the bar suddenly. If you pull suddenly on the bar while the kite is at the zenith, this could create enough traction to pull you off the ground. Take it easy on your bar. Rotating the bar. Contrary to what we might believe, turning the bar around the center line has no effect on the kite. This is because there is no difference created between the rear lines. The beach start is a learning exercise to prepare you for the water start by teaching you about the power of the kite. The goal of this exercise is to create enough power to lift you from a sitting position to a standing position while learning a particular piloting sequence.
They say that I'm not educated. Do I need education to know what's right or wrong?
For safety reasons, sit as close to the water as possible. Keep your legs bent, your forward leg a little less bent. Starting with the kite in the zenith position, work your kite by moving it to the right to gain inertia. Now turn your kite to the opposite side of the wind window. The kite will begin to pull you. Accompany its movements by leaning forward. If you are pulled up to a standing position, keep your legs bent. Gently work your kite on one side of the wind window to bring it to the edge of the wind window at 45 degrees, half past 10 o'clock position, for example. Now, the objective is to generate the correct power to lift you off the ground without pulling you into the air. Remain close to the edge of the wind window, where you may not have enough power, and gradually bring the kite into the window to increase traction. Remember to practice your beach starts on both sides. Common mistakes. Don't keep your legs straight while leaning backwards. Instead of trying to oppose the traction, accompany the movement with your upper body and bend your legs. This will place your center of gravity above your feet and help you to stand up.